clock strikes.
Hey, boys.
What's happening?
What's up?
Hey, we're live right now, but we're going to open the song with the new Nightcap theme. It's playing right now.
Is it playing?
It's playing.
He's from Wisconsin, don't you know? He'll tell you, get him on the phone and speak
You got like a separate headset.
Zen Master Zeno, he likes playing the outro. He'll push your deal flow, and he's wicked smart.
It's the Mac the Night theme.
With fancy robes and a sassy swivel.
I sing that at karaoke.
They'll help you on your freedom quest. Breathe in the mailing, exhale the celandine. Don't ever quit, just learn from their
Judged by
guests.
Scott's expression when it's over.
Get on
Yeah,
the call
I know.
now.
We got a little while to go. People are saying it sounds great.
Friend, become a land geek and end your strife. Raise up your glass deep.
Let me go to Facebook.
No going back now. You're watching Nightcap. It'll change your life.
Almost done, boys.
I'm going to go right to Facebook. I need to listen to it.
Gotta go now, babe. Nightcap's on tonight.
All right, here we are. That's the new Nightcap opening. We may edit it to be a little bit shorter, but that's from Aileen DeAugustine. She's known in our community for coming up with creative jingles and songs, and we need to have her on one time and just play all of her tunes, don't you think, Mike?
I think that's a great idea.
That was a delayed response. I thought I lost you there.
No, I just wanted to talk into the mic. I call it the Larry Overstreet mic.
Yeah.
You got
So-
Larry Overstreet, Mike?
Well, we had him on the podcast. The guy sounded like the most professional podcast I ever heard, so I went and got myself a mic. So I call it the Larry Overstreet mic.
I love it.
See, that's my name, too. See this twist? Larry Overstreet mic.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it.
Larry, what do you think?
He's not on right now, but we do have some watchers. We have Ed Ellis, Brian Adamo, who was just at boot camp, Taylor Kamal, who was just at boot camp, Kushal, Alyssa Swanson, Sandy.
Whoa.
We got some watchers, boys.
Nice.
Yeah. So thanks for coming. Well, what's so funny, Mike? Your background is still blurry. It's distracting me.
Oh, I must have that little thing on that we sometimes use. Let me fix that.
So we're fresh off another boot camp, and there are always common themes about boot camp, but it never gets old. We always, all of us, no matter where we are in the process, we walk away with golden nuggets from Mark and Scott and the community, and we meet amazing people, and we hear life-changing stories. And it was just a phenomenal weekend, don't you think?
It's great.
Phenomenal. It was an awesome weekend. It really was. Well, it was all day Friday. It was more than a weekend. It was a weekend and a day. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I feel like there might be like a Happy Days theme coming from that. Friday. Happy Days. No, it was great to see everybody. As Mark pointed out when we were doing the, it comes out next week. Oh, I'm going to blow up the spot. Anyway, it's great to see how everybody progresses as a unit. They don't really know everybody, even though we did that meetup, which we're going to do again next time. But they come together, start getting kind of orientated to who's in the room, and then all of a sudden this synergy takes over, right? And it's awesome.
Matt Forbes, you've been to a number of boot camps. How to go for you this time? What was your impression?
Boot camp was great. It's always great, right? I think that's my 6th one, right? I spent 5 in the VIP room and 1 in the regular room. And as I said to Mark, you always get what you need, which is why I always encourage people to go. I don't understand why you have a ticket and you don't go. It doesn't really make sense because you can't really figure this business out on your own. It would take forever, right? So, like I am further in my career as a land investor, been doing it a year now. So I didn't get like a fire hose worth of information that I didn't know, but I picked up probably 10 nuggets that were like, oh, why don't I do that? I'm like, oh, well, not 1,000 like I used to sort of get when I first started, but I mean, I've already implemented 2 of them so far, and I needed financing help. I needed my brain turned around on finding investors. I think I was sort of more stuck than I thought, and Mark pulled me aside for like a half an hour. I was like, listen, here is the deal. And within 2 or 3 hours, by that night, I had found $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 worth of capital that I could go deploy. It was insane. And so, like, for me, it was the best boot camp ever because now I can absolutely just pour the gasoline on marketing and go use other people's money and go do this. So to me, it was probably the best boot camp. But I love it. I already bought my plane tickets for San Antonio.
Nice.
I don't think you get a better review than that. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was great. So,
Matt, had you ever done Grill the Geeks before, or was that your first time?
No, that was my first one. I think I asked Anne actually when we got back. I was like, it's odd that they never asked me to do that before. And then she's like, you always were you were always very hesitant, like you never really wanted to do it. And I think it's just I look at like Jen, who was up there, best friend Jen, and 80 deals and she's not even through their first year, and it's tough to compare. I think the deals I do are bigger, but I only did 25, and so like it's tough, right? And so I never really felt like I was doing a good job. It took me sort of through this weekend to be like, you know what, I'm doing all right. 25 deals in my first year. Like we're actually got it going. The business is up and running. This is not a bad year. So, but
exactly.
So that's probably taken me about 9 months longer than it should have. But that was my first time on Grill the Geeks. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, Grill the Geeks, for those of you who don't know, is a portion of the weekend where we have one-on-one coaching students sit up front. They tell their story, and they're kind of grilled by the audience about their experiences. And Matt, you did an awesome job. I think, there are lots of people to choose from at these things, and it was your time. Like, I think my first one was not slightly before you came to your first boot camp. And it's fun to get up there and tell your story and to kind of be grilled and give your perspective on this business.
Yeah, it was cool at the booze party afterwards. Sorry, Mike, but afterwards, like the newer people or the people let's say the people I haven't met. How's that? We're we're all coming up and asking questions, and that was kind of fun, right? Where I think sometimes everyone's a little too reserved, right? But that second night, that cocktail hour, like I didn't even really talk to all the people I normally talk to, right? Mm-hmm. It was all just sort of newer people, and they were, just trying to figure it out. I remember being at that second night in Vegas in my first boot camp. Like, wow, look at these people, right? Like they're doing it. They're younger than me. They're older than me. They've got more money than me. They've got less money than me. Like, hey, hey, honey, we could do this too. And Anne's just like, right? She was not quite on board at that point, but yeah.
What's that song? Is it Eminem? Something Than Me, then Something Than Me. Well, he goes on and on. He kept saying, "What is that song? Why is it in my head when you just said that? What is it, Scott?"
I don't know.
All right, I'm going to come up with.
Are you talking Slim Shady?
Slim Shady, he's talking.
He has a number of lines in where he says something to me, and then like it's like comparison, right?
Audience, help us out. Help Zano out. We're losing viewers. We're down to 7.
I don't even think the audience can help us out on that one. That one might be too far. I think I know what you're talking about, but I can't say I know the words too well.
But I would like to kind of parlay off of what you were saying, if that's an appropriate way to say it. You're talking about comparing yourself to other people and so on and so forth. Well, I mean, I always refer to Scott Todd as my big brother in land investing. Literally grew up with him in this business. Imagine having that as your big brother, right? And here's the guy that you compare yourself to, But you know what? It's inspiring. I consider myself to be very successful, but Scott Todd is a stallion. I mean, he's just somebody that just crushes this business. He's built for it. But if I were to sit there and compare myself to him the whole time, yeah, I could be like, oh my gosh, what's going on? But when I look at my life now compared to my life almost 5 years ago, it is night and day. The things that have changed in my life, the progress I've made, the incredible amount and since if I was Scott Todd, see, this is the difference. I'd tell you how many deals I did. I don't know, man. I did hundreds and hundreds of deals. This has been an incredible process. But if I were to compare myself to someone like him, then I could but what's the point? The individual success is what matters here. I tell people a lot of times they come to this business, you hear about this crazy passive income. Let's talk about that first deal where you paid your bill for the next 5 to 10 years. Then you get a couple more deals, and there goes the car payment. It's done. You got a car payment covered for the next 5, 7, 10 years. Go a little bit further, there goes your mortgage that you've just got covered, right? I mean, think about that. This is the part that we have to really wrap our heads around, is the micro wins in this business that are huge. If you were to compare yourself to where you were in the past or other people that are, struggling with different bills and whatnot, it's crazy. I don't really have bills anymore, right? It's crazy. That's just like I feel this is insane what this business has done. Right?
It's insane what the business. It's insane what the business has done. I said this on the roundtable yesterday. My favorite part about boot camp is hearing the individual stories of where people were a year ago compared to now. And Matt Forbes, think about where you were a year ago and compare it to now. That is a phenomenal change. That's an amazing change in your life. So many things have happened in a year. You've learned so much. You've become more financially secure. You may not feel that way now, but look at the number of deals you've done. And those are, you have assets now that you didn't have before. We have people that a year ago were they did one deal. They had done one deal. Now they've done 80. We have people who a year ago, both of them were working full-time. Now one of them is working full-time. Your why, Matt, is amazing. And I know you're going to hit it. You want to send your kids to a great school, and it's going to happen. So those individual stories are what is success to me. It's not the comparison between this person and that person. And it's hard not to do that sometimes, but all you have to do is look back at your story and your timeline, and what measures success is your story. And that's it's phenomenal.
Yeah, Mark's whole comparison is a thief of happiness thing. I told him that, I was like, listen, that took on new meaning in the last couple of months, and especially this past weekend, right? Where I get it at a really, really deep level, and I've stopped comparing myself to other people. Nobody else has 4 kids. Nobody else has just built a house. Nobody else has a full-time crazy job. We all have our things, but comparing to each other,
no one else is 7'2".
Nobody else is 7'2". Well, I tell you, I spent last night. So now I got all these investors, right? So now the next challenge for me is I want to make sure they're making good money. I'm like, how do I do that, right? How do I look at the split? How do I, figure this all out? And so I built a calculator in Excel. It took me, I made 500 phone calls and made this calculator over 3 or 4 hours. And I'm like, God, it doesn't seem right. So I had my brother get on a Zoom call with me, and because he's a finance guy, and go through it. And he's just like, this doesn't make sense. He's like, granted, it's not for the average investor the way you're setting this deal up. It doesn't make sense. He's like, but in the end, you're talking about giving away, 20% returns. He's like, I could line up $1 million in 10 minutes if this were real. And I'm like, well, it's real. It's just not $1 million. It's that deal was 700, and this deal was 4,500, and this deal was this, and this deal was that. And the returns are there. This thing works. So I think the big thing for me coming out of boot camp is I've gone from, and John Burnett said this the other day or this morning on the regular call, I've turned this into an actual business. I hired a sales assistant / sales manager yesterday, And like, it's, I don't know, I can feel this business now. It's not like a project. It's not a pet hobby. Like, it's about to explode, and I can feel it. So,
Awesome. And, you talked about the hockey stick this weekend during the call. Like, that's oftentimes how it happens, right? The first year, when you're going through coaching especially, that mentorship is so valuable to have a mentor kind of pulling you through this business. And then when you're done with coaching, that year two, it just kind of ramps up. You have all the systems in place. You have your mailing down, you have your marketing down, you have things, you have a machine, and then it takes off, and it's awesome to see. But that's, Mike, go ahead.
I was going to say, that's the...
then we got some comments.
Here's a sobering thought. Huh? That's a pretty good word for our show. And as I pour my, you can also celebrate if you want with some real scotch, Glenlivet. But anyway, aside from that,
weak sauce alert. We're drinking Glenlivet.
I think it's worth the price of admission to watch Mark's go over the wealth mindset inside the boot camp in the room, and go over his experience. Like, here's the thing: we have there's people out there that do well with the business, and then it's like, hey, let me show you how I did it. Right? Let's talk about a guy that's been through the worst times in the land of this in recent memory, right? When the market crashed, and how that affected him, and how he recovered from that, and how he still kept all these land notes, and how he adjusted his lifestyle. This is the power of following a mentor that's been doing this business for an extremely long period of time. That's the power of working with someone that's not just experienced a few months of success, but many, many years of success, and some downtimes based on the economy, and knows how to get through that, and can help others, can pull Matt Forbes aside, and in a short conversation change the whole course of his business with some real advice. So that doesn't come from someone who does a few land deals and all of a sudden, hey, I got this, right? This is someone who's seasoned, and this is the power of our community and the power of the people we work with.
Well, it's I don't want to sit here and tell everybody how great Mark is, because I think everybody's in the community, but you got to be kidding me, right? The leader of the boot camp, the guy, the myth, the legend, the guy pulls me aside for a half an hour. And granted, I love Mark, and I'm not surprised that he did it at all, right? But good luck. Go somewhere else, right? Good luck. Have that person spend the time. Have that person know you and your kids' names and your Pelotoning experience. And it's not normal. This can't be normal, right? To have this kind of a community.
You are the OP, the original Peloton, aren't you?
I am. It's right over there. You can see it. It's under the dust, but it's right over there. So,
all right, we got
the OP.
We got some comments. You ready?
Yeah.
So let's see. Brian Adamo, and I got to give him a shout out, by the way. He said it was a great experience. I'm going to give him a shout out for two reasons. Number one is Brian made his first purchase at boot camp.
Ah, cool.
Which was very cool. He's going through flight school currently. And Brian and I have had a couple conversations on the phone. And this is what I love about, Mike, you and I are kind of in this outreach role for Mark. We get to talk to a lot of people. We get to witness their journey when they're on the precipice and they're nervous of taking a step forward and doing the investor toolkit or doing flight school or whatever. And then in a few months, we get to talk to them when they're having success. So Brian and I had a call. Thanks, buddy. My son just brought me a drink. Brian and I had a call a few months ago, and he said, and we were just talking about flight school, and we say this all the time. It works if you work it. You just have to follow the recipe, Scott Todd's recipe, which is phenomenal. So Brian got me this T-shirt.
Oh, nice.
Isn't that nice? So yeah. Brian got me a T-shirt, which I thought was amazing. Kind of people in this community, right? So shout out to Brian for that. Travis Wood said, "Great weekend, guys. Thanks for the words of wisdom." Doug Hoyer's watching. Boom! Great meeting all at the Arizona boot camp. Kushal just finished flight school. I don't think you're done yet, Kushal. You finished your modules with Scott Todd, and you have 5 weeks left of Q&A sessions. He says, amazing experience. Scott Todd is a born educator. And Mike, I think we should talk a little bit about that current flight school class, because Scott texted us last night and this morning and let us know how well they're doing. And 11 weeks into their 16-week experience, a majority of them have bought and sold land, and a number of them have almost made their investment back. And it's it's amazing in flight school.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's people are executing at such a high level. Matt, Scott does a really cool thing now. He requires people to own a property by week 5, and in order to sell a property, you got to buy property. So people are, their feet are held to the fire. This is execution in real time. People are buying property and selling property in flight school, and he was just talking about how cool it is to have witnessed this in this current class and the last class as well. Because people are really executing at a high level, especially in Kashal's class.
Yeah, you know what I think is awesome, and I was talking to Mark about this. It's like, I said, Mark, can you name another type of entrepreneur-type endeavor where you can make your investment back in the first year, never mind in the first few months, right? It's like, this is crazy that you could actually recoup the total investment that you put into your education in an extremely short period of time. I think that's rather unique, and I think that is worth talking about. I think it's amazing. I often tell people, the investment in the flight school, 1 or 2 land deals, right? And you recoup that, and then it's just game on, because now you have proof of concept, right? So there's what's going to hold you back now. If you understand this model and you put it through full cycle, you are like, okay, time to ramp this baby up.
Time to ramp it up for sure. And Kushal, I hear there's some congratulations to go your way as well. So I know you worked hard on your recent land deals, so congrats to you. Congrats to everybody in your class who's doing deals. We got other people. Let's see. Brian Adamo says, I'm amazed how fast things were turned around with all the investors, some under a year. Craig Feldmeyer's watching. Aileen is watching. Ed Ellis, still looking for my first deal. Would just like a real call to work on. You know what, Ed? It's going to come.
Hang in there.
All right. Question from Ed. Oh, Brian has an interesting comment, Mike, in response to what you were just saying. It takes 8 to 10 years to recoup your down payment on a duplex. And I have friends. I have a friend. She was my work supervisor for a long time. She's buying and selling duplexes, and God bless her. She's having duplex emergencies, and it just takes a long time to recoup your investment in that. So when I get a land deal, I kind of nudge her in the side and tell her about it.
Was it Mark or somebody else said, I've never gotten a call in the middle of the night to say my land's leaking.
Land's leaking. Yes, I love that.
Leaking.
All right, so
no land emergencies.
Speaking of the man, the myth, the legend, the Godfather, he's watching. Mark Podolsky is on the call. Mark, we're talking about the magic of boot camp, and
Mark would agree that Glenn Levitt's a good Scotch. I'm sure Mark would agree.
I'm sure he would not agree. I feel confident that if he were to post right now, that he'd be on my side.
Mark's a Scotch lover.
I'm on steroids and.
He's not feeling well, so
pretty jacked.
I can't drink anything. I just grabbed this on the side because Mark was on. It's what I usually drink. Yeah, so I left this out the other day. Fun story, and I put it sort of here, right, and then
we can't. Matt, the audience can't see because your perception. It's really skinny. Okay. So if you're showing us something, put it in front of you.
No, you don't need.
Let me give you an example. Good Scotch.
Yeah, no, not so much. So I put that bottle down, and then I was on my regular Monday morning, sales call with all my fellow sales guys for my real job. And one of the guys was he's like, "Wow, Forbes, you drinking already? It's 10 a.m." And I'm like, yeah, that's for something else I do over here. Yeah. Let me just move that out of the way. Whoops. No.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, we have a question from Ed Ellis. Can you talk a little bit about your mailing letters and contracts? Do you use a one-page contract? That's what I'm doing, or should I change to a two-page letter? Zainal?
Why are we worrying about the size of your letter? We're worrying about all the wrong stuff. It doesn't matter. Don't worry about that stuff.
Ed, Matt's correct. It is a minor detail, but I would say the short version is fine. I believe that people are just going to see, their land reference and the dollar amount, and if they're interested, they're going to contact you. I've seen a lot of people try to add fluff, add cover letters, doctor it up, whatever it may be, but end of the day, we are dealing with numbers. It's a mathematical equation. Just get those out, and that's going to help. So, yes, either one doesn't matter, but as long as you mail.
Yeah.
Mail, Ed, and I think you are, and it's going to happen for you. Let's have a strategy call with you and me and Zano sometime, and we'll talk about how things are going for you.
Is Mark still watching?
What's that? Mark's still watching? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Mark, I don't know if you caught it. We were talking about, maybe he did catch it. We were talking about the conversation. I think I had it when we were out to eat one night. I said, what other, kind of, entrepreneur type endeavor can you get your investment back within a few months or even within a year? And that's what prompted someone to comment about what the duplexes. So, I don't know, maybe Mark can chime in on that, but this business is awesome. Just the fact that it's a micro environment with the real estate's low risk. Someone had wrote to me, said, hey, I'm worried about getting stuck with a property. Well, that's why we have a recipe. We have a pricing matrix that keeps you safe. If you follow that, there is no danger of getting stuck with a property.
No.
All right, awesome.
I mispurchased my first two properties, and I didn't make a ton of money, but I made $1,000 in the end after I got rid of them. I was just talking with another guy who wasn't at boot camp. I just bought 3 of his wholesale deals, and he's like, I really bought these wrong. And I'm like, well, this is all I can afford. And I'm like, are you losing money? And he's like, no, not really. He's like, I just want to get rid of them and move on. I'm like, okay. So you overpaid. You're out. Like, you're going to go, try a different county. No big deal. I'll take them. And by the way, I have a buyer that wants those 3 and probably the other 3 you want to sell. So, yeehaw.
Well, here's the danger with not mailing enough. This kind of parlays maybe back onto, that's my word of the night, back over to Ed. We're talking about what letter. It's mailing, because if you only mail a little bit and you have a few deals, you're going to say, well, I need a deal. And you're going to choose between a couple of okay deals, and you're going to put yourself in a bad spot. You got a huge amount of accepted and counter offers. Now you have the pick of the litter. You're like, I'll take this one. There's no, I got to have landitis. You have plenty of options. So it really does all dial back to the beginning. This is a sequential process. First step, after you pick a county, build a list, and price it, you need to mail. And I can tell you that there's a lot of people that get hung up on that. I talked to them, I was talking to someone tonight, and hey, how's that mailing going? I'm getting there. I'm almost there. And we talked months ago. This is the reason why flight school was created, because we realized the paralysis by overanalysis is a very, very real thing that gets in the way of people's action, right? So basically, the flight school, Scott Todd, doesn't let you off the call until you mail. So that's it. Your problem solved. You will mail. Therefore, you will get deals. And then that starts the process. That's why we see these results in flight school. So, yeah. You just anyway, that was that.
Cheers. All right, we got another question from we got some good interaction tonight. So
we don't do segments anymore.
We'll do some segments. Kushal has a question. He received a down payment and doc fee via Venmo, and it was super easy. Is there a problem if I continue to receive my monthly installments via Venmo or PayPal? Do I need to send a monthly invoice to the buyer? Well, I think we know what the
PayPal's not really built for that. I know people that get away with it. I know people who have gotten away with it, but it's not really designed for that, right? And so eventually they could shut you down.
But what is designed for taking payments?
Well, Well, yes, we have the Geek Pay.
We have the Geek Pay.
We have the Geek Pay, but I wasn't
not
quite.
Geek Pay. It's the Geek Pay.
Well, no, because
It's the Geek
I
Pay.
got the Geek Pay.
Try and dine me out with the Godfather watching. You insert those into Geek Pay, these collection methods. So yes, you are correct, but we're talking. Man, you're trying to just boom with the.
What do you mean?
The Godfather watching. I know Geek Pay, of course.
No, dude, that wasn't. Seriously,
my own dude buddy.
You're too sensitive. You're too sensitive. All I'm saying is that
fighting again.
All I'm saying is that sometimes Mark has made this payment thing really easy. So,
that down payment link is amazing.
I don't understand. Anytime anyone says why I use this, that, or the other thing, I'll never understand why you don't use GeekPay. I have enough notes now where now I make money on GeekPay. Not only do I make money, but I don't do anything. Like why would you not want to make money and do no work? I don't understand people. But
yeah. No, I love the down payment link. I love the fact once it's used, it can't be used again. You can use that in such a variety of ways. It's awesome. That's just one aspect of it.
Yeah.
If you don't know what we're talking about, go to geekpay.io and look at it, and then call us and we'll talk to you about it.
No, it's
not people that watch us.
Hold on.
What?
It's thelandgeek.com/geekpay.
Oh, when you log in, though. I'm talking about how I log in.
Right. So, but if you want to see an introductory video about how GeekPay works, dude, don't be mad. You're my brother. You're my brother.
Like he's just hitting me left and right, Matt. Am I the only one seeing this?
Watch mom and dad fighting. Stop fighting, mom and dad. The only question is, who's mom? So Kushal says, I've heard that people have their Stripe accounts shut down. I assume he's talking about you? About PayPal or whatever.
No, so...
go ahead, Scott.
Explain this to the community.
Stripe considers our business high risk, right? So,
Yep.
So if you sign up for Stripe, which is free and great and everything else, and you're processing a lot of credit card payments monthly, specifically repeated payments, you're going to come up on their radar, and they're going to consider your dealings with them potentially high risk. So our business is high risk with them. They may kick you off if you're processing monthly payments with them. So what we say is that Stripe for down payments is great, but do not use Stripe for repeated monthly payments.
Right. Okay.
Because it's considered high risk. If you're doing that, they will kick you off Stripe. Which is why we have with GeekPay we have ACH in place. You can automate your payments with ACH through Actum, and I tell you what. Your default rate is going to decrease significantly if you can get people to sign up via ACH. It's like a set it and forget it for them. It comes right out of their checking account every month, and the default rate has decreased dramatically with the use of ACH.
Yeah.
So hopefully that helps.
That makes sense.
Let's see.
I can't even get to all the comments now on Facebook.
Yeah. Oh, here's another point by Doug Hoyer. GeekPay, it makes it easy, right? And honestly, you can make money with it because if you charge a $10 monthly note fee on your terms deals, GeekPay costs $99 a month, right? Well, after those first 10 notes, GeekPay becomes a profit center for you. You will make money with GeekPay if you're charging that $10 monthly note fee for your terms buyers.
I just sold a deal where I make an extra $1,000 over the course of the loan at $9.99 a month.
That's a long note, dude.
That's what my wife told me. Now that I say it out loud, I feel stupid and like it's wrong.
What do you mean? No. That's a good thing.
It's $1,100. $1,100 over the life of that loan by charging $9.99 a month.
Why is that a bad thing?
It's not. It's great. I love it. I'm like, wow, that math doesn't sound right now that I just said it on this. I'm going to go check. But my wife was wrong. It wasn't $1,000. It's almost $1,100. Like, yeah, no problem. I love it. Why not?
I'm watching us now. I want to see these comments. How do I put?
Lots of comments tonight.
Get to the comments.
I used to be able to pull them up on. Oh wait, here we go.
The deal pot if they balk at auto payments. I'll tell you what. I have not had anybody complain. I just say it clear as day. Like, this is what we use. This is what it costs. Yeah, like 1 + 1 is 2. This is how it works. I don't know. I mean, I assume you guys have been doing this a lot longer than me, but I've never had anybody balk at the $9.99.
Are you talking about the note fee?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. So nobody balks at the note fee. And then Doug is saying, does anybody balk at the auto ACH at going to the bank? I haven't anybody balk. I've just had one guy be like, I don't have a bank account. And you know what? All of my loans every month go great, except for one guy. You'd never believe who it is. It's the one freaking guy where I have to go charge his credit card every month. And every month he's ever paid me, it has failed. 100% of the time, it's failed every month. I then have to text him and tell him he's late. He has to text me back, do the sob story. I have to text him back. We go back and forth. 3 weeks later, he's like, he's got $300 for me. And I'm like, okay. And I'll take it. Because I'm new, I put up with it week in and week out. But, yeah, just put it into Geek Pay. Charge them ACH.
I rarely have people balk at that, Doug Hoyer. It's right in my terms contract. They go through signnow.com. They fill out a payment template. They fill out all their information, and we're good to go. Every once in a while, somebody balks at it, at which time I will propose, hey, you can send a check via mail if you'd really like to. I have a guy sending me a money order every week or every month. I have one guy sending me a check via checkbook.io every month. I have a guy sending me a Walmart MoneyGram every month. But these people are all very faithful with their payments. So I would say 90% is automated on GeekPay with ACH, and then probably more than that, actually, now that I think about it. We have a comment from Tom Conway. Tom, is awesome to meet you in Arlette this weekend. He's drinking champagne, Mike. We've never had champagne on this show. Great boot camp.
Have a champagne night.
Really great boot camp. Really enjoyed the course. Champagne gives me a tummy ache.
First of all, take it for the team. Secondly, when champagne night, this sounds great.
Yes.
Unless you want to do a brunch with champagne.
Ooh.
We've done a brunch before. We had the boot camp brunch.
Some of us do work for a living.
Sunday brunch.
We did a Sunday brunch before, remember? We had breakfast and everything.
Right. Some people are new to the show right now. They don't know what you're supposed to follow. It says just follow on your shirt, Scott.
Oh, they wanted to ask. They want to know what it is? Okay, so
I think many people are wondering.
Just follow the recipe. What do I mean when I say that?
Oh, jeez.
People
just love Scott Bossman.
What are you talking about?
Love Scott Bossman. They got him a shirt that says just follow the recipe.
Oh, boy.
Come on now. Listen.
And jealousy rears her ugly face on the nightcap.
Zeno, come on. You make connections with people all the time.
Yeah.
It's a very, it's very rare. This is like a 1% thing where someone makes you a t-shirt. 0.5% thing. Brian Adamo. Team Bossman.
This is Team Bossman.
Remember, there's Team Tate, Team Eric. I'm getting some.
You're gaining traction.
I'm gaining traction.
The kid's getting love, man. Don't hate, Zano. Come on.
I think I'm going to go to the next boot camp. I'm going to hand out shirts to people to recruit them to my team. That's what I'm going to do.
There you go.
Hi, welcome to Team Zano. You look like a medium. Here you go.
I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to bring shirts.
You're going to bring shirts and hand them out? That's Team Zano. Hashtag.
Pins at the very least.
I'll do that for Team Forbes, and I'll just make sure that they're like 6 extra large, and so when people put them on, they feel very, very small. It'll be good. They'll be
feel like they're standing next to you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll make them feel tiny.
I kind of like this. I kind of like this idea, Mike. We should each make each make a number of T-shirts that say Team Bossman and Team Zano, and we just put them up in the front.
Blues.
Put them up in the front of the room. 10 free T-shirts. 10 free T-shirts each.
Oh, look, there's 9 of the Team Zanos left and no Team Bossmans.
Exactly.
Oh, don't be negative. Come on.
Come on.
I'm a team Zano. All day, every day.
We're all Team Zano, dude.
All
Hey,
team.
You're the Zen master.
They could go inside the gift packages.
Yeah. Come on.
You're the Zen master.
Everybody loves Zano.
But can we just have a segment? Any segment.
Yeah.
A segment, any segment?
I'm a little empty, Matt. That helps.
Yeah, I mean, I'm, coked up on narcotics, so I'm not allowed to drink anything, but
Good Glenlivet.
that's okay. Glenlivet's not bad, just so we're on the same page. It's not bad. It's a great scotch to start with, but you'll get past it. It's okay. You got a segment coming?
I don't have any segments. I don't have any segments ready, dude.
Well, we know what this one is.
Oh, the refill. All right.
There we go.
That's what we need. All right.
Yeah.
We're going back old school. It's time for the refill segment. Matt Forbes, we're gonna bring you in for the refill segment.
Matt, do you realize how much we progressed? You used to just come on for a brief moment and leave. Now you're here.
I know. It's like I'm part
But we
of the
don't
show.
swivel anymore. We should start swiveling again.
And you should start wearing robes.
Yeah,
And clothes under the robes.
We're losing our core principles. We're losing our core principles.
Yeah. We want the robe and swivel, man. That's what
All right.
that's what people want. All right, so yeah, raise a glass of whatever. Get yourself a cocktail. You deserve it. If you've worked half the hours I have today, you deserve it. So, have a drink. Ask some questions. Tell us about a deal. Yeah. Cheers.
Yeah.
Any
Ask
more
us some
comments?
questions. Tell us about it. Look at this. Doug Hoyer is leaning. He's leaning Zen.
Leaning Zen. That's tough.
Doug, you're my man.
You're the man. He's your man.
Everybody loves
I think Doug
Dana.
and I did have a connection. I felt that connection as well at boot camp. I toast that. Any other people out there want to share?
Mark Podolsky says it should be a sitcom. Everybody loves Zano. I totally agree. Everybody loves Zano.
But do they like Glenlivet, Mark? You haven't weighed in on it yet.
I
think Mark Podolsky likes Glenlivet.
I don't think so. He was very, very generous with his comment and said, I'm not a Scotch snob, which I find hard to believe. But I prefer Macallan, which, call me a sales guy, but I think what he's saying is it's not good, and I drink this stuff over here.
So what's it called, Mark Allen?
Macallan.
Mark Allen.
I will drive to Haverhill, and or you can
Haverhill.
Unless you pronounce it correctly.
No, I know how to pronounce it, but it's funnier to say Haverhill. Hello, I'm going to Haverhill.
I love it.
And we'll bring some scotch, and we'll get this going.
And we'll do the nightcap in those chairs I have over there. We'll project the screen, and Bossman will be jealous.
It's time for the Boston Lager segment. This is where Scott Bossman. This is where Scott Bossman spells a word and Mike Zano pronounces the word incorrectly. Ready?
This is also where Scott Bossman talks about himself in the third person.
Here's the word. You ready? Haverhill.
Come on, Haverhill.
Haverhill.
Haverhill. No, it's Haverhill.
Listen, people will be like, yeah, I'm looking for Haverhill. They'll tell you. You're looking for Haverhill? They'd be like, there's no town around here called Haverhill.
Yeah. I'm coming from Worcester. I'm looking for Haverhill.
Yeah, that goes on your steak.
Yeah.
Oyster.
Yeah. Somebody had a question, though. Here we go.
I got a question is it the Brian Adamo question? That's a good one.
No, hold on. What did Mark say? Matt, we were discussing a roundtable between two geeks instead of between two ferns?
Between two ferns. Have you seen that? Have you seen that with Zach Galifianakis?
Good one, Mark.
No.
That's a good one.
I know not of what you speak. You'll have to send that to me. I'll watch it later.
All right, go to youtube.com and look at Between Two Ferns, Zach Galifianakis.
Oh, where he interviews people?
Yeah, there's a movie as well on Netflix.
I have seen those. Yeah, those are good.
So we're thinking about doing a roundtable podcast in the vein of Between Two Ferns.
Is Mark still watching?
Yeah, I'm happy to help with that. That's right. Just if you want my help.
Do we still have the Godfather on?
Yeah, he's still on.
Mark, listen, I got to say something. So we talk at the round table and in person. Mark was joking that he doesn't know any country songs, which I think he was kind of serious. He's really not really into country. But recently I may have been in the Rusty Spur, and I'm pretty sure I saw a dollar pinned on the wall that said Podolsky.
No way! So he was at the Rusty Spur!
There's a bar in Scottsdale, and you put a dollar sign on there. I turned around, and I swear I saw a dollar bill that said Podolsky.
Yeah, there's a lot of Podolskis out there in Phoenix, though. A pretty common name, I think.
Yeah.
Mark Podolsky says yes. He's been there.
This is like, I didn't realize that Scottsdale has, like, I thought it was all like a Sims town, all recent developed. They had this old section with these old buildings and this old saloon.
That's funny.
We'll wait for verification on that.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, we'll see what he says.
All right, somebody had a good question in there, but I lost it on
I got it. Brian Adamo, just follow the recipe.
I'm upset that you like Scott more than me.
I just got an offer on 10 acres for my posted price of $2,200. He accepted the offer, but I may need to price down. Any techniques to share? Mike Zana, we had the whole episode on this.
Yeah, with the $1 Skittle and all that, we should revisit that.
We need to revisit that,
but get the facts straight. He sent out an offer for $10K. The guy accepted, but he's like, I really can't pay $10K.
Exactly. So how do you renegotiate on the buy side?
It's a walk in the park.
Impart wisdom on us.
Yeah, so the first thing you want to do is you call him up, right? You're going to just talk to him and say, thank you very much. I appreciate it. But then what I would probably say is, honestly, we've had an overabundance of accepted offers in this area. And to us, when that happens, it's a sign that we're probably a little bit off in our pricing. So after receiving a lot of accepted offers, I dug a little deeper, and I have found out that, I was offering too much. Now, I know I offered you that much. I'm not sure how much you are attached to your property, but I'm going to have to readjust my offer. And then pause. The biggest part of that equation is to drink the Glenlivet. Because after you make that statement, you're going to close your mouth. Because a couple of things are going to happen. The person's either going to be like, what? You're crazy. You sent me this. I understand, sir. And I'm going to do my best to match the offer I promised you. Could you tell me a little bit more about your property? Perhaps you have some utilities. Perhaps you have some better access than the other properties. Tell me a little bit. Have you ever been to it? And then start the process of de-evaluating it. Or he might say, I don't really care. I'm sick of this property. I don't use it anymore. I just want to get rid of it. And you go, as I was saying, we've been offering about $7K for those properties, and then you're going to buy it at a big discount, right? So you really got to feel out that person where they're at, and you're going to do something. Now, you could use a technique, but something along the lines to get them to start, react. And so when you make that statement, you have to pause, because that's where insert angry person, insert person who doesn't care, or whatever. You just see where they're at, and you move from there. This is my way back on a podcast with Mark. He gave a tip of the week was that I gave was shihodori. Yes, that's a Japanese word. It's 4-directional catch. The idea is you do something, the other person does something, and whatever it is, you just move from that. So you're not trying to guess like, okay, I'm going to do this, then the next thing is this, because you can't plan life like that, right, Matt? You can't plan this is going to happen and this is going to happen. It doesn't work. But I do something, whatever the reaction is, I work from there. That's the same thing we're doing here. We're throwing out something. This guy's it's like a verbal stem. The guy's going to grab onto it, or he's going to do something, and you're going to work from there. So that's all you got to do. Piece of cake.
Oh, I can't hear you, Forbes. You're on mute or something.
It's the number one reason why a lot of salespeople fail at sales, right? Is they're trying to anticipate what the prospect is going to say after whatever it is they just said, and they anticipate incorrectly, and they don't actually listen to what the guy says. So don't bother. Do what Mike says, right? Say something and wait to see his reaction, right? If he's willing to sell it for $2K, right, he probably bought it for a hell of a lot more, and therefore he's in good shape to go down. Or right? It was given to him by his parents, in which case it has very little value to begin with. So,
what was the number he said, Scott? What number did he mail?
2,000 for 40?
No, it was 10 acre parcel for 2,200. Now, but Brian, here's what you got to remember.
I thought 10K. I misunderstood. Sorry.
No, but here's the other thing: the parcel he just bought this last weekend at boot camp, he bought 40 acres for 2,000. That's probably a pretty good buy in that county. But the offer that he got, an accepted offer, was for 2,200 for 10 acres, and it's only 30 miles away. Now, listen, 30 miles in a county, right? It's a huge distance away, and
could make a difference.
It could make a difference, right? You go from desert plains to mountain trees in 30 minutes. So you just got to really analyze your comps, Brian, and make sure that make sure that it's appropriate to devalue your offer in that area, because I don't know. It's just a matter of really analyzing the subdivision, really analyzing the area you're in, because 2,200 in one area of the county may be an appropriate offer for 10 acres, and 2,000 30 miles south of there may be an appropriate offer for 40 acres. Of course, you may be getting a deal on that 40 acres. So.
That's a great point, and one that we often see people. This same point is why people sometimes mess up their mailings. They say, okay, 10 acres is 2,000, 40 acres is 4,000. No, it doesn't work that way. It depends on where the county is. That's why we say hyper-focus in one area, so you're very tight with your numbers. So this 10 acres could be
listen,
22.
He just said that 10 acres is by the interstate and has road access. Well, Brian, your 40 acres did not have great road access. So... yeah.
So there's the point right there, right? It's different qualities, different property, different comps, different everything. So don't assume you have to buy it as half the price as the other one. Now, that's not, we don't know the property. We don't know the value. We can't assert that here. But what we can say is there's a high probability that could be a good price.
I can tell you that you can anchor while trying to go lower on that 10 acres. You can anchor it with the price you just paid for the 40, though. It's a pretty good starting point, right? Well, I just bought a 40, about 20 minutes from here for 2,000. So I'm pretty sure I'm over where I'm supposed to be.
I love this. We got to learn to somehow use some more graphics with our show, because I just want to now drop an anchor into Matt's screen, like an anchor that's like ding ding ding, like one of those SpongeBob anchors. Like every time we say something, like we could just drop little images in. That would be awesome. Matt, the anchor Forbes.
That's a Mark thing, not me.
No, but,
all right, Brian.
Jeez, it's a good idea. I wasn't cranking on it.
No,
Brian Adamo.
Everybody's a little sensitive tonight. I'm feeling it.
Dude, Brian Adamo just said, he said, very good input. This is great. I'm feeling Zanoized. It's a verb now. Zanoized.
Wait a minute. This is the guy that got you the shirt?
Yeah, it's the guy that got me the shirt. You get a verb. I get a shirt. You get a verb.
See you at the next boot camp. We'll have that on the boot camp shirt. Zanoized. Is that it?
Zanoized.
Wait a minute. Can we change it to Zano-wise? I just think it might sound better.
No, we can't. No. I say no.
That's a very Zano-wise comment.
Zano-wise comment.
No, that's not a thing. Zano-wise is not a thing, and nor will it ever be a thing. No.
We'll take a vote. Community?
Community?
That's everybody. I'm asking for everybody to vote. Matt,
all right.
Yawning on the nightcap. No yawning on the nightcap.
Yeah, it's Matt for his bedtime. So
5 viewers we just lost when he yawned.
Hey, I'm sick over here. I'm on drugs and steroids and stuff. It's sleepy time.
Should we do one more question and call it a night?
And we'll wrap it up.
You gotta do
Wait a minute. There's the question for you tonight. Wrap it up. Take it. What year? Who sings it?
What?
Wrap it up. That song.
No one knows what you're talking about.
MTV back in the 80s. Wrap it up.
It's not a song. Not a song.
It is a song.
Fabulous Thunderbirds?
Yes. It was. Come on, everybody else out there loved the Fabulous Thunderbirds?
Oh.
You don't really know that song, Scott?
When were you born?
I song stumped Scott Bossman. I song stumped him.
Damn it, Jim. It doesn't happen very often. Doug Hoyer, what sounds forced? Clarify for me. He said something sounds forced. Okay, one last comment question for the night. Ready? It's from Kushal, who just had 2-term sales yesterday. Congrats. I had asked Scott Todd this question, but I want to get your thoughts as well. When I run out of capital, I can always enter into partnerships with other investors to fund the deal and do a split of the net profit. There seems to be many people interested in this arrangement. This way, I will never run out of properties to purchase, whether they are in my price range or not, as long as they are good deals and can build my entire business based on other people's money. Thoughts? Yes!
Oh, this is the funnest music video I've ever seen in my life. But he's exactly correct, and it's exactly what I'm doing right now, and high five to Kushal. Absolutely. In fact, I could go buy property right now, but I'm choosing not to. I'm choosing to take all of my money and throw it into marketing and buy all of the property with other people for now. Could be wrong, but that's okay.
No, you're not wrong. That's the beauty of this business, right? As you grow in this business, as you continue to evolve, things change. You go from using your. Go ahead.
No, I think there's a stage where you go and you do these deals with other people, and then there's a stage where you just go get some debt financing, right? And then you take it on. So I think I'm in that middle to late stage. Only because I know Mark is watching.
You do a combo. All right. So listen, I have to do this because every time Mike says this word, I cringe with a combination of happiness and cringe-worthiness.
Is it like Haverhill?
It's like a total dichotomy. I don't know. Anyway, so I have to do one more Boston Lager segment because this word when I spell this word and Mike says it, it's totally wrong on from Mike's perspective. Here's my favorite Boston Lager, the word of the week. Remember this one?
Cheetah. Never play cards with a cheetah.
Yeah, I love that word. I love that word of the week. One more though. You ready? I want you to say this word for me, Zeno. You ready?
Oh gosh.
IDEA.
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 Oh my.
Idea.
What's your point? I'm missing the point.
I dear love you. I dear promise to be with you for the rest of my life. I dear.
I'm missing the joke.
I can't even handle it. I dear.
Hey.
Forbes, why are you not laughing right now? This is funny.
I'm not. Okay. Glenn Levitt.
Oh boy.
All right. We haven't done a closing toast in a while, so
waiting for a hard landing.
Let's do a closing toast. And wait, we got a new comment. What's it say?
Hey, you said last comment. Now you're breaking the rules.
Anyway.
You want to take it?
I'll take it. Here's to the Godfather, Mark Podolsky. He has changed lives. He's doing it over and over and over again, year after year, boot camp after boot camp. It is really phenomenal to watch and witness, and it's just, I don't know, it's very empowering. So, Mark Podolsky,
Cheers.
Here's to you.
Cheers, Mark.
Cheers. I don't have anything to drink.
Now I'm going to play the outro.
Okay. That was a fun nightcap.
I don't have an outro to play.
Oh. Well,
but anyway.
Thunderbirds.
We'll be back next week, right, Zeno? Next Wednesday? Yes? No?
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely, next Wednesday. So if anybody has any...
drinking.
I might be traveling for work on Wednesday. I don't know.
Be on a plane on the show. We like that.
That's fine. I can do that. Live from Southwest with free booze.
Nice. Thanks, Mark. We appreciate it as well. Cheers to you. Good night, everybody. He said, thanks, guys. He appreciates it. Cheers.
Yeah.
See you next week.